Yo, what is going on YouTube? I am Germ here, and obviously this is one of my favorite times of the year. You know, I really love LEC and LCS playoffs, I really love MSI, I really love Worlds, and I really love the two off seasons. Overall, I think, the time where no League of Legends is being played and no off-season moves are happening, that sucks. I think LEC and LCS regular seasons are pretty boring as well, but thankfully we're in like a real good sweet spot right now of LCS playoffs still going on, rumor mill starting up, and MSI being right around the corner. But at this point in the offseason, we're in that weird phase where no real moves have happened yet, other than like Vizicachi to Astralis. Other than that, we haven't really gotten any of the big dominoes falling just yet. But we're in that stage where we're hearing all the possibilities, hearing all the ideas. And I think it's a fun time because it's where you hear some of the craziest ideas, some of the craziest possibilities, but it's also where you need to take everything with a grain of salt because nothing's official, nothing's done, nothing's happened yet. And as soon as that first move happens, that's what's going to orchestrate the rest of the offseason. That's when the rest of the teams are going to start piecing in their rosters. But right now, there's just all different kinds of rumors going on. We're going to be talking about a new one today regarding Vitality, the super team, the super average team, whatever you want to call it, and Selfmade. So definitely drop a like if you guys do enjoy this video. I'd appreciate that a ton. Subscribe to stay up to date on all my latest content, and consider checking out the Patreon, first link in the description below, if you want to get early access to all my videos before they go live on YouTube, or if you just want to help support me, my channel, and my content. With that being said, let's get right into this. So obviously Vitality was the super team. Some people thought they were a super team that was destined to fail before they even got started. I feel like it was like one of the super teams with the lowest expectations of all time. There was so many people picking them to fail. Obviously, there's a lot of people that had them first or second because they love Perks, and Perks is really good, and Selfmade's good, and Carzzy just won 2 titles, and Alfari was like an MVP candidate in the LCS and all this stuff. But there's a lot of people picking them to be like 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th. I mean, it was kind of crazy, and obviously, they never really had a stretch of looking like the best team in the LEC throughout all the spring split. They started off slow, picked it up a little bit in the middle, ended bad, lost bad in the playoffs. Best of fives weren't really any better for them. And obviously this was an expensive roster. This was, a team where they had to buy out Perks. They had to buy out Alfari. Carzzy was a free agent, but it's not like he was cheap. There's just a lot went into this roster, really high expectations, also a lot of egos, Selfmade, Perks, Alfari. These are players with egos, we know that. And there's some questions about, are the play styles going to gel? Is there any synergy there? But also, now that they failed, and they failed so miserably, they were not even close, looking into the summer split, hey, you need to get top 3 if you want to go to Worlds. And these are all players that obviously want to go to Worlds, and the organization's like, hey, if we're going to be spending all this money, we want to go to Worlds too. And like I said, we just never really saw a glimpse of this roster being great or working together. So I think a lot of people are skeptical if they're just going to run this roster back in the summer and expect things to be any different. So that's kind of getting us where we're at today. But it's also hard with a roster like this to decide who should get changed. They're all big name players. Nobody was like for sure Vitality's best player in spring, and I don't think anyone was for sure their worst player either in spring. So it kind of makes it hard for the team. Like overall, just the team didn't work very good together. But we do have Kadril. And he had a clip recently where he talks about the current offseason rumors, the state of the rumor mill right now, where he kind of breaks down everything and talks about all this. He does give a little blurb about Vitality at the end here, but I think this is good just to hear him talk about everything. And some of the things he says here we'll talk about later on in the week. We'll dive deeper into. But here's what Kadril kind of says as the latest, as far as by April 18th.
Mad Lions to bench Reeker, and they're exploring their options. Maybe Niski. Reeker's had a lot of interest. Maybe he's going to Koi. Niski going to Mad is cool. Niski going to Mad is cool. I hope he does that. That would be awesome. I don't know. From what I've heard, dude. Wait, let me pick my champ. What am I against? Yeah. So what I've heard is I've heard VTO. VTO is going to Mad, maybe. He could go to he could stay in Misfits. Also El Yoya. El Yoya could go to Fnatic. Yeah, he could also go to XL. Elyoya could go to Fnatic. He could stay in Mad. Maybe he goes to Vitality as well. These are all.
So that is the big thing there, where he says, like I said, we'll talk about all this stuff eventually. We'll go into more of these things. Also, the thing interesting to note is that Kadriel is signed with XL now. So maybe in the past, when Kadriel has kind of dived more into rumors and he's talked about more what he's hearing behind the scenes, especially from like his sources and his connections and people he knows, he's probably been able to talk about more in the past. I don't think he can talk about as much this offseason. Right now, he's just kind of rounding up what is generally out there, like on YouTube, Reddit, Twitter, all that stuff. He's not necessarily saying that this is super accurate or this is good information or all that. He's just kind of laying out all the options and all the things that he's heard, from Wooloo or different sources or different places. Because like I said, he is under Excel now. So, he's not as openly able to talk about a lot of these things like I'm sure he has been able to in the past. But at the end there, he does throw out Elyoya potentially being an option to go to Vitality. And we have heard from, I believe I Will Dominate said he's heard there's like a ton of shuffling that could be going on in the jungle in the LEC. So this would make sense. This would go right along the lines of that. Now, at this point, it seems like one of the most likely candidates to get moved around is Razork. It seems like he's out of Fnatic. That's what we're hearing. We're hearing, Razork is all but done, and that Fnatic then could be interested in Elyoya. Well, if Fnatic is interested in Elyoya, then that means Elyoya is potentially on the market to be bought out by somebody. And if Kadriel is saying that Vitality is an option for him, then obviously one of the rumors could be that Selfmade could potentially be out of Vitality. Now, I do think it was interesting that Selfmade, he tweeted out this hourglass. Now, I don't necessarily know what this hourglass means. There's some speculation that, hey, it could be like, hey, counting down to Fnatic making some moves or counting down to the Fnatic drama starting up yet again, because he has tweeted stuff about this in the past. There's another tweet that I want to talk about as well, but, he had tweeted out something like, oh, wonder when we will hear Fnatic drama this offseason. Feel free to blame me for anything. I'm used to it at this point. This is kind of funny. But yes, he was tweeting out an hourglass. And then, Fosty said again, you are the reason for everything. And Selfmade said, apparently I am. Now, again, is this talking about Fnatic stuff and memeing about that? Or are they memeing about him being the issue inside of Vitality and potentially getting removed or kicked from there? Now, maybe Vitality is just looking at their options. Hey, if Elyoya is available, maybe we're going to at least pick up the phone and be like, hey, is Elyoya available? Or maybe they've already decided they would like to move on from Selfmade and they're just seeing what all the other options are out there. Maybe Vitality could end up with Razork. Maybe Vitality could end up with Elyoya. Maybe they can go to the ERLs. I don't know if there's necessarily any like crazy standout options in as far as junglers in the ERLs right now. But hey, maybe these are possibilities. Maybe there are options out there. I don't know, but it does seem like there could be something going on with Selfmade. And again, I wouldn't be totally shocked if they did, because we know that Perks and Alfari kind of went over as a package deal. They were trying to find a place to play together, so I don't really think Perks and Alfari would split up after one split. Carzzy, he's like young, a back-to-back LEC champion. He's got this bright future ahead of him. So I think it really comes down to the two guys being able to be replaced between Lebrov and Selfmade. And yeah, I don't know. If Perks doesn't feel like he played well with Selfmade. Also, during the season, we heard Selfmade saying that him and Lebrov don't have the best synergy and don't work the best together. Now, he was saying, hey, we're trying to figure it out and we're trying to work towards having more synergy and being able to play better together. But maybe this team's deciding that, hey, they didn't see enough progress, or maybe there's not going to be any progress or something like that. Also, Selfmade did tweet out this as well. At least I improved at dog junglers this split. So maybe he's not happy with his role on the team. Maybe the team doesn't think that the role they need he fits in necessarily. And that's the other thing. I tweeted this out today that I was like, hey, just because a player gets removed doesn't necessarily mean they're getting removed or kicked or traded or swapped out or whatever just because they suck or they played terrible on the Rift. There's so many other factors at play. Maybe you just aren't a good synergistic fit in the team. Maybe the role that the team needs, you can't play super well, and maybe somebody else could do better. Maybe the personalities don't fit. Maybe the coaching staff doesn't fit with your style. All these other things. Maybe Selfmade wants to be removed. Maybe the team doesn't want him. Maybe he wants to stay. I don't know exactly. But I do think there's a lot of rumors and a lot of things out there that could be pointing towards maybe Selfmade being potentially gone from Vitality. I don't think anything's done yet. I don't think anything's official, but I do think over the next couple of weeks, we're going to be getting a ton of updates and finding out a lot about what is going on with all these teams. But again, the rumor is out there. It is a possibility that Vitality could have a new jungler that could be moving on from Selfmade. I don't know exactly who that new jungler would be, but there's some exciting and probably some not so exciting options out there. But that is pretty much it for this video today, guys. Definitely drop a like if you did enjoy it. I would appreciate that so much. Leave a comment down below. Do you think Vitality should kick Selfmade? Do you think they should keep him? Who do you think their jungler should be? I don't know. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. Subscribe, stay up to date on all my latest content. Hopefully catch you guys in the next one. But until then, peace.